chaos in Yemen. First, U.S. Special Forces forced to evacuate, and now Yemen's president reportedly fleeing the country as rebels advance through that nation. Senator Marco Rubio joins us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Greta.
Senator, last December, President Obama was so positive about Yemen. Now it is absolutely disintegrating, and even the State Department saying that we are, quote, having a temporary departure from that country. Unless temporary means decades, I don't know what to make of this.
Well, first of all, this is about Iran, again, the source of instability in the region and in many parts of the world. These are Shia militias and Shia rebels that are continuing to make advances there, and they are equipped and protected and supported by Iran. And it's part of their strategy to become the dominant regional power. It's part of encircling Saudi Arabia, a Sunni country. And so you see now their presence in Yemen. They've basically invaded Iraq. Obviously, their influence they have in Lebanon. They control Assad in Syria. So slowly but surely, they are carrying out their master plan of regional dominance, and Yemen is the latest piece of that puzzle.
Is there anything, looking at this map and looking at what's going on as this country disintegrates, and you talk about Iran's influence in Iraq now fighting ISIS, is there anything positive that we can hang our hat on? Is anything good going on to our nation's interests?
As regards to Yemen? I don't know how you can say that there is.
Iraq, Syria, tell me, where are we winning?
Well, first of all, in Yemen, we've now lost an important base of operation against al-Qaeda in the region and the Arabian Peninsula, which is probably the most dangerous offshoot of al-Qaeda. So we've now lost a place to operate from. If you look across the region in Libya, it is increasingly becoming the premier operational space for ISIS and other radicals to operate from. In Iraq, to the extent that ISIS is being pushed back, it's being done so by Shia militias controlled by Iran. They've basically invaded the country, and every single day that goes by, they have more and more influence. You're now seeing more and more reports about how the Shia militia on the ground in Iraq pose a threat to American servicemen and women, both there and in the region. So you keep, and then of course meanwhile, while Iran is carrying out this master plan of regional dominance, we're at the negotiating table with them, and I continue to believe that much of our strategy in the region at this point is being driven by a desire not to offend them so they don't get up and walk away from the negotiating table.
Well, what happened? President Obama said at the 2012 Democratic Convention that al-Qaeda was on a path to defeat. Then, of course, we've got him saying, and we keep slapping him in the face with this one. He said in January of 2014 that ISIS was JV. Then 6 months ago, he says that Yemen is essentially a success story. And now we look at this map and we just, there's just nothing there that looks good for us. What happened?
Well, I think he has a history now of miscalculation, of misjudgment, or quite frankly, of just refusing to accept the facts of what's happening. They're always more interested in the domestic political spin and getting credit domestically for something than they are in the truth about it. So time and again, we've seen them fail as a result of that. And so it leads us to believe if they've been wrong so often about the true threat of ISIS, about the status of al-Qaeda, about holding up Yemen as an example of counterterrorism excellence, what then, how can we now trust that they're going to do, for example, a deal with Iran that's going to make sense for the world and keep us safe? This is an administration that has a history of being wrong, and they're going to be wrong again when it comes to Iran.
Well, then you've got the situation with Prime Minister Netanyahu, who certainly he and President Obama have a lousy relationship, and it's not going to get any better any soon. So how does that fit into this calculus?
Well, it's interesting. Yesterday, the president said it wasn't personal, but I think it is personal, and here's the evidence. His entire political apparatus, a significant number of people that were key to his political machinery, were on the ground in Israel supporting V15, which is an outside group that was in there getting involved to try to oust Netanyahu. They were involved in doing everything from analytics to mobilizing voters on the ground, to polling, to advertising. This is unprecedented. That an American president would send his political operatives to another country to oust a foreign leader that he doesn't get along with. And then he says it's not personal. It is personal. It's absurd, and quite frankly, it's dangerous. It puts in danger a very important strategic relationship to the United States, not to mention a nation that's been a strong American ally.
What do you make of Senator Ted Cruz jumping in first?
Well, he'll be a very strong candidate, as I said, and you could see that in the past he's made a lot of people excited about the things he stands for. Look, we're blessed as a party. We have a lot of really good candidates. The Democrats are struggling to come up with even one. I think our country will be better for it at the end.
And your decision, yes, no, comes when?
Soon. As I said, we're getting closer to that date, and we understand that if I decide to run for president, it's going to take time and energy to do it. So we'll make an announcement here fairly soon.
All right, one last question. Soon. How do you define soon? Because I've heard soon from others candidates. They say soon to me. It's soon like weeks, days, months. I mean, like, what is soon? Can you define it for me?
Probably not months, but certainly multiple weeks. And that's important. Like, soon means when we're ready to make the decision. There's a lot that goes into something like that, and a lot that goes into announcing whatever direction we go. But it's something that I'm increasingly excited about, and I look forward to sharing with you and others here fairly soon.
Senator, thanks, and I may run to the dictionary finally and look up soon because I get different definitions from everybody. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.